If it's one thing gaming needs, it's this: competition. Being able to compete for you as a customer, being able to compete for you as a user, being able to compete with pricing, content, products, and being able to go through and give you the best experience possible is exactly what should be happening right now in video games. In fact, though, it's actually the opposite. We're seeing as companies right now are trying to push you into their own ecosystem, monetize you more than ever before, and even then try to screw you and remove actual ownership and content that you in fact paid for. And it's gotten so bad that people are now actually staging a 1 week long boycott from PlayStation, a total blackout perhaps, being able to go through and tell a major corporation and company, look, we're tired of your and we're not going to take it anymore. And clearly, these are good things happening overall, because what we're seeing right now is the fact that these corporations and companies just don't give a damn about you as a customer. And all they're going to do is just monetize you over and over again. And yeah, this is like broken record Alex 101, right? And it's gotten so bad right now that even PlayStation is telling you to your face, they just don't give a damn. Not only are they telling you that right now, they're also telling you that today, right before everyone is supposed to be doing the PlayStation blackout as well. But the thing is, there's something different going on too. There's also a really good analogy happening in this space right now that many people are in fact ignoring. And it turns out that exactly what PlayStation is doing by going through and causing all these issues, having all these people make a blackout, having everybody get angry about not having physical media, pretty much just proves that Valve and Steam were right from the start. And until a gaming company realizes that, it looks like we're going to have a big problem in gaming for a very long time. Because according to The Gamer, an analyst isn't convinced that Epic Games Store can recover at this point. Now I know what you're saying, Alex, this is a PlayStation video. Why are you talking about Epic Games and Steam and even Valve? Well, it's actually pretty apparent and pretty poignant to what we're going to be talking about later. Not only with the blackout, but also the insane email that was sent to everybody in the EU about PlayStation no longer having physical media in 2028. Yeah, pretty much they're just completely going around and doing the exact opposite of what made Valve so popular in the first place. But the thing is this, there's no real competition in this space right now. What we're looking at instead are basically an entire oligopoly, multiple companies segmenting their entire user bases and saying, you know what, we make enough money here, you make enough money there, and we'll just keep ratcheting up the pricing on everybody. And Epic Games is the exact perfect example of why this kind of actual mentality doesn't work. We've seen as Epic Games has gone through and tried to restrict games going onto Valve and Steam. We've seen them try to make exclusivity, actual content, even go so far as to offer free games for all their users just to log in and instead turn around and buy the game on Steam instead. But I think also what this points out to is the fact that no company right now, not Microsoft, not PlayStation, and even not Nintendo, have learned a single lesson from what Valve is in fact doing or how to even treat their own customers. And you know what's crazy? Even Epic Games hasn't learned that lesson either. But let's check out the article and see what's going on. With the article by The Gamer saying Epic Games Store isn't shy about its shortcomings. Vice President and General Manager Steven Allison flat out admitted that the platform sucks, and the team has pledged to finally focus on quality of life features and performance. An extensive roadmap was recently laid out, including a new library of interactions, cross-region gifting, patch notes, player profiles, reviews, discovery improvements, universal controller support, a notifications overhaul, and a move away from Unreal Engine. Like the shopping cart that took years to add, many of these features are fairly basic and should have been prioritized much earlier, but it's still a step in the right direction. However, even with these long overdue changes, analysts like Newzoo Director of Market Intelligence Emmanuel Rosier aren't convinced that the storefront can close the gap. Saying, quote, "I don't really see how they can turn that around," Rosier said in an interview with PC Gamer. Steam has become so inevitable. The Epic Games Store, they get players by giving free games, but people just go, they log in, they get the free game, they don't even play them. You know, it's almost like collecting games rather than actually playing them. That's perhaps the biggest problem facing the Epic Games Store. It has accrued a monthly peak of 78 million active users, but turning those players into a genuine audience is something the storefront has struggled with. Free games are an effective way to bring people through the door, but if users simply claim them and leave, then Epic isn't building the kind of daily habit that has made Steam so dominant. And this is what I've been noticing so often with every other company in the gaming industry besides Valve and even good old games. What you're seeing right now is every company trying to pull the exact same trick that Epic did against Valve and Steam, using exclusivity, using free games, coercing you onto their platform, but yet not being able to actually turn over anybody into proper customers or even an audience for that space in the first place. And watching as Epic Games is now struggling trying to figure out how to fix their storefront, how to be actually pro-customer, how to go through and give users what they're truly looking for and fix all the gaps that Steam has just had them on leaps and bounds with, truly is the funniest thing of all. This company should have had these things like a shopping cart, like a better friends list, like all these other issues all lined up before the damn store even launched. But yet, so many years in, still not done. So many issues still not fixed. And then they stop and think to themselves, how can we ever come back and even recover when we can't even get somebody in the door to buy a goddamn game? And this is going to tie directly into what PlayStation and so many other companies are in fact doing, literally not learning any lessons from what Steam has done, instead doing the actual opposite and following Epic Games' store lead, going through and marking exclusivity, PlayStation removing their games from the PC storefront, not having Ghost of Yotei, not having Wolverine on PC, no longer catering to that entire massive user base of over 1 billion PC gamers, but instead trying to monetize their current core audience and then use those exclusive games as some sort of like carrot on a stick to guide you to buy a $900 PS5 Pro or a $650 actual PS5, while at the same time telling everybody you're not going to have any physical media whatsoever. Hell, it's gotten so bad that even PlayStation just sent out an email to everybody telling you don't own shit and we don't give a damn. With Tom Warren on Twitter posting, Sony emailing everyone about PlayStation terms of use during a backlash over the end of discs and a lack of digital ownership is certainly a choice, showing pictures of the email that he got and even saying the license to you. This is the part that's actually insane to me. PlayStation knows what's happening. They know that there's going to be a blackout starting today. In fact, Insider Gaming even reported on it as well, talking about, hey, we're going to have a blackout and are you even taking part? And people are either going to go ahead and do it or they're going to say, no, I don't really care about this. And that's where the entire rubber is going to meet the road. But PlayStation's complete tone-deaf behavior and lack of understanding why people are even doing a blackout in the first place really goes to show this company doesn't give a They don't care. They think they've got you by the hairs on the backside, and they think that they're going to be able to go through and keep you on their platform while monetizing you over and over again. Exactly what Epic Games is trying to do with their own exclusives too. And the fact that PlayStation has no true understanding of the gravity of the situation, or the fact that maybe they do understand the gravity and they just don't give a damn, really is more concerning to me than ever before. Why on earth would anybody in the right state of mind think about saying, hey, I've given you all this money, I don't even own the product anymore? You're actually taking away pure ownership from me? No, piss off. If I'm going to go all digital, I might as well go on PC. And so many people are in fact saying that exact same thing right now. Why stay on a platform that doesn't give you refunds, tries to monetize you over and over again, tries to restrict what you're doing, and then when you fight back, they literally spit in your face? It's actually kind of insane when you think about it. And it turns out people are pretty much sick of it too. But there's even more to this actual email by PlayStation. And sadly, things got worse. Saying, quote, you recently accepted the following PlayStation terms: the PlayStation Terms of Service, their Code of Conduct, their End User License Agreement, and their privacy policy, reads an email posted to Reddit on the 18th of August. For your convenience and future reference, we have included full copies of the terms in this email. Please retain this email for your records. Several recipients said they'd received the email despite not touching their PS4 or PS5 in months. Rather than linking out to the full terms, the email reproduced each reference document in full, including the section of the software EULA covering digital purchases. Saying, quote, the software is licensed to you, not sold, it reads. You are granted a limited, non-exclusive, non-transferable, and personal license to play or use the software for your private, non-commercial use on the system or device it was intended for. The terms go on to restrict things like renting, modifying, or obtaining games through unauthorized means. All right, this has got to be like the most insane thing I've truly seen so far. PlayStation sent out 50 pages of documents to everybody who had a PS4 or PS5 and telling them, hey, guess what? You don't own nothing. We don't give a damn about it. At the same time, you can't rent, give out, or even try to buy any of these other games from any other places that we don't deem is acceptable to even be sold there. It's almost like they are literally pulling the exact same playbook that Epic Games was doing, trying to go against Valve and Steam. And it truly goes to show that companies really believe that because they have the kind of video games and exclusives that you want to be parading around and showing off to people, giving you a false sense of value for investing into their platform, that it's going to be enough to keep you there. Even though they sent this email out just days before today's actual PlayStation blackout. The actual amount of tone-deaf, insane behavior of this company really doesn't stop at this first place at all. And I really feel like what we're seeing right now is the fact that PlayStation is trying to go through and monetize everybody as harder than ever. But the sad part about this isn't PlayStation doing this. The sad part is no other company is going to take Valve's lead or approach in this space whatsoever. There's some hope for Xbox doing it, sure, with Asha Sharma making a lot of changes very quickly, but we're seeing right now in this space that apparently it's only Valve and GOG against the entire gaming industry. Clearly, none of this is actually good at all, and a lot of customers are looking at this and going, why the am I going to buy a PS5 Pro or even a PlayStation 6? You're sending me 50 pages of a PDF email telling me that I don't own jack. And it gets even worse because not only that, they're doing it right before the blackout of everybody saying, stop taking away our ownership of video games. All PlayStation had to do was exactly what Epic is trying to do right now before they made that announcement. Give you a refund policy, give you actual ownership of licenses, give you the ability to actually own what you're purchasing, or even then DRM-free content. But no, instead, they want to lock you behind everything, keep you shackled to their actual system, and then try to milk you for every penny in your back pocket. But the problem isn't just the fact that PlayStation is doing this. The real problem is the fact that people are cheering this on. Even ex-CEOs of Square Enix parading around as if they won a victory in this. No, I'm not kidding. Jacob Navik on Twitter back at it again, saying a reminder that the terms of use at PlayStation are both for physical discs and digital downloads. I said this 2 weeks ago. You do not own your physical discs unless you define ownership as, quote, owning a coaster of plastic. Your plastic contains software to which you are licensed. I thank Sony for reminding people I was right. What is it with CEOs and being the biggest bootlickers of corporations I've honestly ever seen? This Jacob Navik guy has been talking about how you don't own jack for the past couple of weeks all over his Twitter, all while going around and showcasing that, hey, he used to be the finance guy at Square Enix, especially in the time when Square Enix was releasing some of the worst games and the biggest failures they've ever had in their entire generational run. No, I'm not kidding. Go look it up. It's actually wild to see. But it's crazy to watch as these people are going through and defending this company. You don't own anything, bro. Even if it's physical, it's a coaster. No, it's not, Jacob, and you know that. We've seen Does It Play literally prove that a grand majority of PlayStation games are fully playable off of the disc and completely offline. This entire concept and cope that we've been seeing people say like, oh, it's a disc, it's got software based, you can't get past it. Well, then why the are we allowed to put our consoles in offline mode, play the game itself and install it off the disc, and never have to worry about a patch or anything else ever again? See what I'm talking about? The insane actual bootlicking behavior really just continues overall. But it gets even crazier because even other fanboys are starting to do this too. And they're even trying to use Valve's own terms of service as a way to prove that PlayStation is actually right, not having any idea how Steam works in the first place. With Oliver Draco posting, I see a lot of freak out about something which hasn't changed and was established a long time ago. PlayStation, Steam, Nintendo, and Xbox all sell game licenses through their DRM stores. It's actually really funny how people who don't use Valve and Steam or understand what the PC actual space is, trying to talk about PC gaming. Number one, yes, everyone does sell a license. Even GOG sells you the license, even though it's DRM free. The difference is, it's DRM free. See how that works, Oliver? It's like you don't have the two brain cells in your head to rub together and make an actual thought. Many games on Steam, in fact, don't even require DRM in the first place. And many games on Steam as well don't even require Steam to be open to run the game. You can simply put the exe from the actual installation onto your desktop and run it off the rip. No Valve required, no Steam required, no background app or process. Literally no DRM. The reason why they're selling you a license is because there's no physical content. The difference, though, is that on PC and on Steam and on GOG, you can go through and actually own that license digitally in perpetuity because it's actually yours. It's not revocable. And here's the funnier part, too, which people don't even really understand. If a game gets delisted from Steam's storefront and you already own that game, they don't remove it from your library. You actually own that license. It's not like PlayStation, who removed a bunch of movies from your ownership and your library because the license ran out. This entire thing and this idea that, oh, Valve does it too, therefore it's also okay, is totally insane. And not understanding how Valve operates or how Steam operates really goes to show that good job, you played yourself. Even Brader News posted this. Sony pushes 50-page long emails to remind you of PlayStation terms of service. They can record your IP, chats, clips, and chats. They can sell and advertise your clips with no revenue going to you. You don't own your games. You rent a license. Thank you to Pyro. And that's the more concerning part about this. We've talked about the massive surveillance state happening in the gaming industry and even in technology on this channel for quite a few months, especially with everybody using AI to monitor, record, and even see everything that you're doing online 24/7, 365. And this all points directly back to what we talked about with Epic Games and even Steam. We're watching and witnessing as every company is now trying to do the same thing Epic Games is doing. Restrict what you can buy, restrict how you can own it, and then not give you anything that makes the actual platform worth it in the first place. Imagine if PlayStation actually took the pages out of Valve's playbook instead, gave you an actual refund policy, gave you licenses that you could actually own without needing to be connected online all the time, DRM-free games that don't require a PSN check-in, or even at the same space going through and saying, you know what, we may be going all digital, but we're going to lower our prices, give you better deals. Instead, they went the opposite route, variable rate pricing, increasing prices, increasing the cost of their systems, making things more expensive, giving you DRM instead of ownership. That's the real problem with all of this. It's not about whether or not Steam sells you a license or the fact that every other company does it too. It's about how that company sells you that license and whether or not you have actual ownership of that license without being able to check in from that company from time to time, or even then removing an actual amount of ownership from that space together, like we saw with physical media in 2028 with PlayStation. What we're seeing right now is the actual opposite effect. It's companies not looking at what Valve is doing and saying, you know what? We're going to do the opposite. We're going to treat our customers like crap. We're going to monetize them. We're going to screw them. We're not going to give them anything they want. Yet here comes Valve, constantly updating their storefront, removing points of friction, making things easier for you as a customer, giving you community access, proper refund policies, and everything else across the board. The difference is Valve took 20 years to get good. PlayStation doesn't have that time. Neither does Nintendo, and neither does Xbox. And that's where things could really start to go ahead and break in the actual dam of insanity happening in the gaming space right now. And that's the biggest problem that I've had with all of this. The fact that PlayStation is taking away ownership physically, but not giving you back anything in return as a customer. If they did what? 50% of what Valve does right now, people would not be as mad as the way they are right now and not wanting to do an actual blackout. And the thing is with the blackout, I love it. I think it's going to be great. But the problem is, I don't think it's going to hit the mainstream like everybody thinks it does. And that's where I think things are going to fall short. Putting out the GTA trailer, putting out the Wolverine trailer, going through and putting out this email the day before the blackout, going through and telling people, you know what? We don't really care. You're going to buy our slop anyways, and you're going to be happy about it, really is the biggest FU and middle finger I've ever seen by this company. They did this strategically. They did this on purpose. It was actually the most petty thing you could see PlayStation do. Oh, you want to do a blackout? Cool. Here's your entire terms of service. We record everything, we keep everything, and you own nothing. What will work, though, is moving to another platform. And that, in my opinion, is going to be the bigger wake-up call to PlayStation than anything else. Having a blackout is a good idea. It sends a good message. I'm not going to deny that right now. But it's not going to actually impact PlayStation in a long-term format in an actual negative way. What will hurt them, though, is when they see their sales decline, is when they see their games not sell enough copies, is when they see people move away from their platform to things like Steam and PC gaming, or they see people sit there and say, you know what? I'm just not even going to buy your product in the first place. I got plenty of games to play on my backlog, and there's really nothing else you can do about it. So stop trying to monetize me. And I think that's where we're going to see the rubber really meet the road. These companies speak only one language: money. And unfortunately, the only way to hurt them is by not giving them any money. Maybe one day, though, we'll see actual competition in this space. And I was hoping the Steam Machine could have been that competition. But right now, at that price point, it's not where it needs to be. And hopefully one day we'll see it drop down to that $700 mark. That would be really great for everybody to jump onto. But the thing is, people are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Consoles are too expensive, PC parts are too expensive, and game companies are using this and abusing you as a customer. But in my opinion, if PlayStation wants to play this game, I really think they're pushing it way too far. Just like when they told everybody to get a second job to buy a PS3, I think we're seeing the resurgence of PlayStation bringing back their greed era. If people can't afford your consoles, if they can't afford your games, how are you going to make any money? And that's the question everybody should be asking PlayStation. Because if people move away from their ecosystem and they go to Steam, even hardcore fanboys are starting to understand that PlayStation isn't doing what they thought they were. And maybe even those games aren't enough to keep you on that storefront. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. Do you think the blackout is actually going to be effective? Do you think PlayStation can in fact do something positive for their own users? Or do you feel like Valve and GOG seem to be the only true outliers in this space that'll give you exactly what you need? Proper ownership and the actual ability to treat you like a customer with some damn respect. I want to hear what you guys got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from Friday's video. With Frank Diaz 1978 saying, this whole industry needs Control-Alt-Delete/end all tasks. Frank, you're not kidding, my boy. This entire industry needs an actual reset. A reset to put the customer first. A reset to compete for the customer themselves. And a reset to make sure that everything that we need in the first place is what's taken care of. Not the shareholders, not the company, and especially not the corporations that are trying to abuse you around every single turn. But as always, though, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, bro, don't even worry about it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Saturday nights live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. Do you want even more of me, though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. New videos go up every single Monday. In fact, hey, there's a new video up right now, and I live stream there daily, every day from around 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. weekdays. We're playing Mortal Shell 2. We're about halfway done with it, and the chat likes to make fun of me, call me DSP, and say that I abuse my refrigerator. Yeah, it's a hell of a show, trust me. Come on down to the live streams every weekday, 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. as I get you through your workday. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!